Caleb, pretty decisive performance there, and you guys clinched playoffs. I believe you also clinched a top 4 spot at least, which you wanted. Can you just talk about the game and what it means to have put yourselves in that position?
Well, it's obviously been a long couple years since we won the championship, and just real pleased that the guys this year dug deep through a lot and are able to now be in the playoffs. Again, that's the first goal. Obviously, that's not the only goal. Our goal is to win the West, and our goal is to avoid the knockout, and then when we're in there in a high seed, win it all. But it's a great step. I can remember vividly last year in that last press conference after losing Vancouver, that feeling, and we went back to work and made some changes, made some adjustments, and it's great to be rewarded, with a better year, obviously, and to be in a position where we can not just have a better year and be in the playoffs, but win the West.
You made the decision to start Alvis Palatinade for the first time in quite a number of games. Can you talk about that decision and his performance tonight?
Yeah, I thought everybody played well. When you get the perfect storm of 11 guys plus the subs all putting in a 7 or 8 shift, it's scary, especially with the brand of football that we're capable of playing. And, looking at DC, we knew it would be about us breaking them down. We knew they'd drop off and, look to play on the break, and we knew they'd make life difficult with numbers. And I thought our guys showed a lot of composure and patience. It wasn't easy. It took us a while to pick the lock and get that first goal. Obviously, the second half, we opened the floodgates. But the outside backs, I thought, were a big part of what we did tonight. We shaped the game up that way, and we went with Vitas and Alvis because we wanted to play our wingers more narrow in pockets, and we knew there'd be space for them to get around if the rotation was right. And I thought, again, we could have done a little bit better to start the game, and but it's difficult as well. But I thought as the game went on, Vitas and Alvis were both really good.
What was the difference in particular for the wingers in the second half? In sort of rotating through, Nagbe, Valeria, and Blanca were pretty quiet in the first, and then, I think the score sheet speaks for itself as to how they played in the second half. What did you think the difference was in really getting those guys going? Yeah,
sometimes it just takes time, and getting that first goal, makes a big difference because now they have to open up, and, we knew it would take time, and, it wasn't perfect in the first half, but we had some good little half chances. We had good control. I was really pleased with how we controlled them in transition, and dealt with their first and second balls. I thought we were up for the fight. We were very focused in the moments that matter. Could have been a little sharper, a little cleaner. Our tempo on the ball could have been a little bit better, but sometimes, again, it just takes that first goal, or it takes wearing down the opponent. At halftime, we adjusted the positioning a little bit of the wingers. I thought they got a little too narrow, too early, and just kind of sat in and right in their block. And what we wanted to do is we switched play out to Larry's Origi, have the wingers a little wider, and then come in. And you saw a couple times where now the ball's getting rolled right into the outside back because their outside back was getting dragged narrow. And so the little timing of those rotations is the key. And I thought our timing was a little bit off. They were too narrow too early, and we ended up just playing the ball the outside back who was standing, and we wanted to get the outside backs forward on the move a little bit more, where they could get crosses in and penetrate a little bit more. So a couple little adjustments, but other than that, it was just, we just needed time.
Does Vitas, as opposed to Roy Miller at left back, and I guess same goes for Powell instead of Valentin at right back, sort of allow you to have that little bit of more narrow final third kind of standpoint for the wingers? Is that essentially why the move on both sides?
Yeah, I've always been a big believer in this league that you gotta tweak what you do, personnel, and I thought a big part of winning this game was I don't think they saw our outside backs probably getting forward like we got them forward. Last several games we had played with the outside backs staying connected, and because we had wingers that played a little wider, we didn't need them to get forward. But clearly this game, that was something that I think threw them off. And I think in this league, you have to do that. So oftentimes I'll set up a game to set up the next game, and that was the plan all along in playing the group I played San Jose and then going to this next game. Now I'd hoped to play better versus San Jose, but I always had it in my mind that I would go with more attacking wide backs and adjust the movement of the wingers, and those are little things that throw teams off. And if you're too predictable, now the next game we gotta figure out how we can throw another wrinkle in, because they're going to be game planning now for our outside backs forward, and they're going to look to hit us in transition for sure, and we're going to have to come up with a few different rotations to break them down. I think the game will be pretty similar, a lot of similarities, because Vancouver is a team that likes to absorb and counter. They don't like to carry games too much, but they're better than DC, so it'll be a more difficult game.
Let's go one more.
Caleb, just talk about Darren again. He drew the PK after maybe missing a shot he brought back. Just talk about, again, his maturity, how he's gotten comfortable being the guy up there late in the season.
Yeah, again, I think he's just still getting back into the swing of things. I know it's crazy to say, but because he's played a lot of games in a row, but he hasn't played a lot of games in the last several years. So there's still a lot of work for him to do in his timing and his movement and his finishing. But I think that's 4 PKs that he's created, and they weren't little PKs, they're big PKs to unlock. I think in at least 3 of them that unlocked the first goal. So that's what he brings. Obviously with every player there's strengths, there's weaknesses, and but he brings that game-changing pace that he can just pull off something in a moment, and I think that puts a little fear in the opponent, and all it takes is one ball where he presses, or I thought he was really unlucky in the second half to not score the cross. If he scores that, that's the type of goal he should score. And he gets at a really good spot, especially when we break the line wide and get an early cross in. It's impossible to stop because we're in behind him, and it's an early cross, and he's going to win that foot race where he slashes in between the center backs every single time. And so that's how he can score. He can score by getting in behind him breakaways, although there weren't a ton of opportunities for that in this game until late. And then he can score with his pressure. And so those are the things that we need him to do, and he's just got to finish the play. But I thought he was pretty good, especially early in the game in possession. That's not normally his strength, but he held the ball and played around the corner a few times and kept it. And he knows he needs to finish a little bit better, but that will come. I was pleased with it.
Last one for Will.
Another game where Diego Valeri really put his mark on it. He got the goal, he got 2 assists. What did you think of him in this one, and especially what did you think of the build-up to his second assist on Blanco's goal?
I thought that third goal was a great team goal. We've scored quite a few of those this year. Obviously there have been some games this year where we haven't played this dominant way that we always like to play and prefer to play, and a lot of that's personnel and the injuries we have, but we clearly prefer to play the way we played tonight, and that's always been the way that I prefer to play. So I thought that third goal was the epitome of that. Our combination play, we work on that a lot. It's a great little sequence with Blanco and Valeri. Those 2 guys are really, really clicking, and it's great to see Blanco. I said it at the end last year, right? Our wingers need to produce more, and we're getting good production, and Blanco's been excellent. Valeri, I'm not even going to talk about him because there's nothing to talk about. He should be the MVP.
Thanks, everyone.
The Thorns ratcheting up the pressure on you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Hey, let's get a double. Let's get